everyone, and welcome back to Kingdom Wealth Creators. It's the biggest dream of any trader to make the perfect entry and then make that perfect exit in a trade that they're doing. And it's a very rare dream that comes to life for most people because first we miss out on the perfect entry, and then inevitably we will miss out on that perfect exit. Nobody enters a trade perfectly, and nobody exits a trade perfectly. But it does rarely happen, and today we're going to show you how this perfect trade happened on March 15th for us. So on March 15th, we made that perfect entry and almost perfect exit. As you know, it's very difficult normally to get that perfect entry, and then the issue is always to exit perfectly. We tend to make a mistake there. But if you can see here, we made a profit of almost 3.46 lakhs. And the key for this was this 35,500 CE trade. I had only shorted 250 of these. What I did is, if you go to the orders, you will see that I shorted the 35,500 CE at 591.76 at 12:06 p.m. So let's take a look at where the Bank Nifty was at that time. It was 12:06. You can see here that in the morning, the Bank Nifty had opened at this level, and then it went down a bit to 35,200. And from there, it came to this 35,670 level. The high was 35,675. And then at 12:05, it started forming this M pattern. If you look here, you can see that this is an M pattern. And so normally what people would do is they would wait for the bottom of the M pattern. They probably take a position there because that's the reversal signal. They will sell when the M pattern is fully formed. What I did here is I saw it forming another top, the double top of the M pattern. So here it was 35,675, and again on this side, when I saw 35,675 acting as a resistance, I shorted the 35,500 call. So this was at 12:05. Now if you look here, the time was 12:06 when I made the trade. If I were to pick up the depth, it shows the high was 621. So I kept my stop loss at about 626 or so. And then what happened? The market fell. You can see here that it broke the M pattern and then it fell down even further. Eventually recovered a little, and anyway, it closed flat towards the end of the day. Now what I did here was to keenly watch the market. You can see that I closed the trade at about 2:46 p.m. And if you look at here, the low was at around 2:30 p.m. And what I did is, as soon as I saw this candle, this green candle, I saw the reversal candle, the red candle, and then when I saw the green candle forming, I immediately exited. So you can see from the depth that the low was around 211, and when it started reversing, I closed it out at 266 rupees. So that was definitely a perfect entry. You can't get closer, a tighter stop loss than that. 591 was my sell price. My stop loss was 626. And from there, it fell almost to 300 points. It was almost a near perfect exit as well. And also in my positions, you can see that there was quite a lot of good fortune. So I'll just give a quick explanation of what happened here. From the previous day, I had the 36,400 CE and 33,400 PE strangle that I had created. And on the Nifty, I also had the 17,200 CE, and against it, as my strangles were 15,900, 16,100, 16,200 PEs, and that was my Nifty strangle. I also had a call spread here from the previous day. You can see I had bought this 16,700 CE and I had sold the 16,800 CE. So that was my call spread. The 16,700, I had bought 500 of them at about 215. And the 16,800 I had sold at about 164. That was 500 16,700 C and 500 16,800 C. So what happened when I sold the 35,500 C and then I saw the Bank Nifty and the Nifty slightly breaking, I put a stop loss on all my Ps. I put a stop loss of 2019 for my 16,700 C, and also for the 16,100 PE and the 16,200 Ps, I put stop losses at the price that I had sold them initially at. So this 33,400 PE was initially sold at 126, and during the day I closed about half of it at 75. And then when I put stop losses for all my other P's, I put a stop loss for this also at about 125, and eventually the remaining 600 of this, stop lossed out at 125. But I made a profit of almost 50 on those 600 Bank Nifty strikes, and that was a profit of almost 30,000 rupees there. So the 36,400 CE was very interesting because I had initially sold 1,200 of them at about 107 rupees. You can see here that the high was around 218, but eventually I closed it at 74. So I made a profit of almost 35 rupees there as well. The 16700C that I bought, it had stop lossed out at 219, 218, 219. And so that left me with the 16800C that I had sold at 164. As you can see here, it had gone to a high of almost 260, but eventually it fell below my 164 price, and eventually I closed it at around 97, 90, somewhere in the 90s, and I made a good profit on that as well. Now that was a very good entry, a very good exit, but here's the most interesting part. At around 2:46 p.m., I decided to close all my weekly Nifty and Bank Nifty positions. I closed it for about a total profit, weekly profit of about 5.6 lakhs, and as you saw previously, about 3.4 for the day itself. And what was so interesting is that, in the evening, you can see here that the global market started turning around. Everything started shooting up. The Dow Jones, the Nasdaq were all up. In fact, the SGX Nifty was around 16,900 on the evening on March 15th. Even today, as we shoot this video, the Nifty is actually closer to 17,300, and the SGX Nifty is showing almost 17,500. So that was for the weekly option itself, that was a really good exit point. It was the best possible point to exit out all my positions, and I made a fantastic profit. And I really enjoyed the very rare dream of any trader to have that perfect entry and have that perfect exit. So I hope this video helped you understand how rarely this happens. It's not easy. We always tend to mess up that exit especially, but it worked out really well for me. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do remember to like it and share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.